My girlfriend said, "Move us or I'm done." I replied, "Then we're done." Then I signed a studio lease, moved out while she worked, left a note for the landlord, and I just smiled because she learned where I went when her boxes hit the curb. Original post: I am 29. My now ex-girlfriend Aubrey is 27. We were together a little over a year. No kids. I rent a one-bedroom apartment in a mid-sized city. Decent place. Small kitchen. One closet. I work in IT support for a hospital. She works in retail and does content on the side. When we started dating, the arrangement was simple. She had a place with 2 roommates. I had my apartment. She stayed over on weekends, then some weeknights. Normal progression. The shift was slow. A toothbrush in my bathroom. A drawer with her leggings. A line of skin care bottles on my sink. I did not mind at first. It felt like we were getting closer. Then her short stay turned into something else. One Thursday I came home from work and saw 3 big suitcases in my living room. 2 plastic tubs stacked by the couch, her ring light leaning on the wall. Aubrey was in my bedroom, hanging dresses in my closet. "What is all this?" I asked. She smiled like it was obvious. "My stuff. Landlord is raising rent. My roommates are annoying. I am just here for a while until we find something bigger together." We had not had that talk. There was no "can we move in together" conversation, no talk about money. She had just moved in. I felt a tight knot in my stomach. I did not yell. I did not argue. I said, "Okay, we need to talk about space and bills later." "Of course," she said, already sliding my shirts down the rod to make room. Over the next month, the apartment stopped feeling like mine. Her shoes lined the entry. Her boxes stayed in the corner. My gaming console got moved to make the space look nicer in photos. She filmed videos in the living room and complained about my furniture not being aesthetic. One night I got an email from the building office. It said, "Please be aware that adding long-term occupants may require an updated lease." They had seen her multiple times and wanted her on the paperwork if she was staying. I looked over at the coffee table. Aubrey's mail was stacked there. I noticed a change of address slip on top. She had updated her mailing address to my apartment. No discussion. Something went very still inside me. I closed the email. I did not say anything right then. Instead, I pulled up my lease to read the guest policy. Then I opened another tab and started looking at studio apartments for 1 person. Quiet. Small. Mine. That was my first action, not a fight, just research. Update 1. 2 weeks later, the real blow-up came. We were eating takeout on the couch, boxes on our laps. Her phone lit the room more than the lamp. She was scrolling through listings. "This place is tiny," she said, looking around. "We need at least 2 bedrooms, maybe 3. I need a filming room. You can have an office in the corner." I swallowed a bite of noodles. "I can afford what I have," I said. "Maybe a small bump, but not double." She rolled her eyes. "You make good money, you just do not try. My friend's boyfriend just upgraded them to a loft. He cares about her comfort." "That is their situation," I said. "If we get a bigger place, we split the cost." Her face changed. Defensive. "I cannot afford that right now. I am still building my brand. That is why partners help." "We are not married," I said. "I am not your sponsor." She set the takeout down. "So your plan is to keep me trapped here in this shoebox. You want me to live out of suitcases." I looked at the suitcases. She had never unpacked fully. She also had never taken any of her stuff back to her old place. "Aubrey," I said, "you moved yourself in without asking. You are not on the lease. You do not help with rent." I asked for a talk about bills. "You changed my daycare and started planning a bigger place I pay for." She crossed her arms. "If you loved me, you would want us in somewhere nicer. Here is the deal. Either we start looking for a bigger apartment this month, your name on the lease, you can put mine on later, or I am done." The room felt very quiet. I watched her face. She expected me to fold. "Are you serious?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "I am not going to waste my 20s in a starter box because you are scared of commitment." I did not argue. The knot in my stomach loosened in a strange way. "Okay," I said. "If that is your line, I hear you. Her lips curled, satisfied. Good, so tomorrow we can call some places and you can send in applications. I nodded once. I will look into something. She thought she had won. The next day on my lunch break, I toured a studio across town. Simple. One big room, small balcony. The lease clearly said maximum 1 occupant, no long-term guests without approval. Perfect. I signed the lease that afternoon. I did not confront her yet. I spent the next week packing my own things slowly. Important documents, clothes I actually wore, my game console. I bought a couple of new plates and cups for the studio so I could leave the old ones behind. On moving day, Aubrey had an all-day shift and then a friend's birthday afterward. She told me she would not be home until late. When she left, I loaded my car in 2 trips. I left the furniture that had been there before her. The bed, the couch, the kitchen table. I left all of her stuff exactly where it was. On the counter, I put an envelope with my keys. Inside was a short note. You gave me a clear choice, bigger place on my dime or you were done. I am choosing a different option. I have moved out. The lease is month to month. You have 30 days to remove your belongings. Please do not come to my new address without my invite. No yelling, no door slam, just a quiet exit. Update 2, the fallout started the next afternoon. I was in my new studio, boxes half open, laptop on a crate. There was light from the window and silence. No ring light, no tripod. Just my stuff. My phone buzzed, then it did not stop. At first texts. A joke, right? Where are you? What is this note? Then photos of the empty spaces in the apartment. My side of the closet gone, my desk corner empty. You abandoned me, she wrote, and all my things. I typed back one message. I moved out of my lease. Your things are still there. You have 30 days to get them. Talk to the landlord about next steps. She called. I let it go to voicemail. Her voice was high and sharp. You are insane. You left me with all this rent. You took off without telling me. My mom says this is financial abuse. You are going to put me on the lease now or I will tell everyone what you did. I forwarded the voicemail to my email and saved it. That night, mutual friends started messaging me. Dude, why did you kick Aubrey out? She says you left her homeless. She is posting about you. I checked her social media. There it was, a long post over a sad selfie on the floor. Never thought the man I loved would sneak out while I was at work and leave me with nowhere to go. Ladies, watch for red flags. Some men are cowards who run instead of communicating. Hundreds of likes. Comments about trash men and you deserve better. I did not respond there. Instead, I sent screenshots to a small group chat of my closer friends. I included her ultimatum text from the week before, the one that said, either we get a bigger place this month or I am done. I added a photo of my note on the counter. Most of them replied with variations of oh, and yeah, that is different. The next day the landlord called me. Got your notice, he said. Saw your note, we need the keys. I left them on the counter, I said. I am fully moved out. Aubrey is not on the lease. I told her she had 30 days for her stuff. He sighed. We cannot have unauthorized occupants. If she wants to stay, she has to apply in her own name. Otherwise, we treat it like any other move out. A few days later, Aubrey texted again. Landlord says I need to qualify on my own. They want pay stubs and a credit check. You need to call them and say you will stay on the lease with me. No, I wrote back. I moved out. I am not signing for you. You are ruining my life, she replied. I cannot get approved alone. This is your fault. I put the phone down, made dinner. Ate at my small table facing the window. Over the next week, her posts got louder, more stories. When a man refuses to step up. When he leaves you with everything. Her friends sent angry DMs to me. I did not answer. What I did do was send one clear email to the landlord and Aubrey at the same time. I have vacated the unit. As of the end of this month, please consider my lease terminated as previously discussed. All items left in the apartment belong to Aubrey. I do not consent to being held responsible for any future rent or damage. Landlord replied, Understood. We are processing your move out. Aubrey replied separately, in all caps, about betrayal and how could I. 2 weeks later, a friend who lives near my old building messaged me a photo. Aubrey's boxes stacked on the curb. A "for rent" sign in the window. She did not get approved, he wrote. They locked her out. She came back with her mom and had to load everything into a storage unit. I did not feel joy, just a strange, quiet finality. In my studio, my rent came out of my account on time. One name, one key. Update 3. About a month after I moved out, Aubrey reached out again. This time the tone was different. "Can we talk?" she texted. "No drama, I just want to clear the air." I sat with it for a bit, then I wrote back. "Public place, coffee shop by the library, Sunday at 3, 1 hour. She agreed. Sunday I got there early, bought my own drink, sat near the window. When she walked in, the first thing I noticed was how tired she looked. Dark circles, hair in a loose bun, not styled for photos. She sat down across from me without a drink. "So," I said. She took a breath. "I am staying with a friend's cousin right now," she said. "On her couch. Storage is full of my stuff. I am on a wait list for an apartment, but my credit is not great. I need a cosigner." I nodded once. "Okay, I am not asking you to get back together," she said quickly. "I know I messed that up. I just need help. If you sign for me, I can move into a place, then we can go our separate ways." "No," I said, calm. She stared at me, just like that. "Yes," I said, just like that. Her eyes filled. "You left me," she said. "You walked out without warning." "You gave me a choice," I replied. "Upgrade to a bigger place on my dime or you were done. You moved in without asking. You refused to discuss money. You turned my space into your studio and called me cheap when I said I could not afford more." She shook her head. "I was scared. My lease was ending. I thought if I was already there, you would see we worked as a couple. My mom said men need a push." "I am not a project," I said. "You pushed. I stepped aside." She looked down at her hands. "I keep thinking you will realize you overreacted," she whispered. "We were good together." "We were okay until my boundaries cost you something," I said. "Then I was the villain." She wiped her eyes. "So that is it. You are fine watching me struggle." "I did not make your lease end," I said. "I did not put your name on packages at my place. I did not tell the landlord you lived there. Those were your choices. I am not going to sign my name under your choices anymore." She searched my face like she might find a crack. "Do you even miss me?" she asked. I thought about the silence of my studio. My own towels, my own closet, no ring light in the kitchen. "No," I said. "I miss who I thought you were, but that person pushed an ultimatum and expected me to pay for it." She sat back like I had slapped her. There was no more argument left. "Okay," she said finally. "I guess that is clear." I stood up. "I hope you figure things out," I said, "but I am not your safety net." I walked out into the parking lot. The air felt light again. Final update: it has been 9 months since I moved into the studio. The breakup is fully done. No shared lease, no shared bills, no shared plans. From what I hear through mutual friends, Aubrey bounced around a bit, couch to couch, then a room in a shared house, smaller than my old one-bedroom, thin walls, no space for a filming room. Her social media changed. Less outfit hauls. More quotes about outgrowing people who cannot match your energy. At some point, she made a long post about how being abandoned taught her independence. Comments were mixed. Some of her friends knew more now. One of those friends, Kara, met me for lunch once. She said, "She told us you kicked her out and left her with bills. Then I saw your note when I helped her pack, and I saw her ultimatum text. I get it now." I shrugged. "We wanted different things," I said. "She wanted a sponsor, I wanted a partner. My landlord sent my final move-out statement months ago. 0 balance. Good renter note. That felt like a quiet win. Work is steady. I used the money I am not spending on a bigger place to pay down my car faster. I put a little into savings. I bought a decent chair for my desk so my back hurts less. The studio feels like home now. I have a small couch against the wall. Shelves with my games and a few plants. On weekends, I open the balcony door and let the air in. Sometimes I just sit and listen to the silence. Friends ask if I am dating again. The answer is slowly. I had coffee with someone from a hobby group. When she asked about my last relationship, I told a simple version. She moved in without asking, I said. Gave me an ultimatum for a bigger place. I moved out instead. She laughed once, not mean. So you picked yourself, she said. I picked my lease, I said. But yeah, I guess I picked myself too. I do not feel hate toward Aubrey. I do not wish her bad. I also do not feel pulled to fix anything for her. That part of me is done. Sometimes when I open my closet and see only my clothes, I remember the night I came home and found those 3 suitcases in my living room. Back then, I stayed quiet and let the knot in my stomach grow. Now, when I feel that same knot start, I take it as a sign. Talk early. Set terms. And if someone answers with an ultimatum, believe them. The suitcases were my warning. The studio is my answer.